Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Susan. So in today's video we are going to be making a tutorial on wrap top. So in order to draft this wrap top, you need the basic bodice knowledge. So I've already made a tutorial on that, and I will drop the link in the description box below. And for this wrap top, you actually don't need a zip at the back. You just need to wrap it at the front, and that's just it. And for this top as well, you can attach different types of sleeves of your choice with it, and then you'll be good to go. So let's get started. So guys, like I said, that you need the knowledge of the basic bodice pattern, so we quickly will run through it. So I've drawn a line just to serve as the starting point, and then we'll insert our chest line, which is the armhole divided by 2, which is 9. Then, so on this line, we insert our shoulder line. So shoulder to bust point is 10.5. Shoulder to waist is 17. Shoulder to hip, I'm actually using my own measurements, so you can just make use of the measurements of your choice depending on your body size. So shoulder to hip is 24, and the length, depending on how long you want it to be, but for me I just want a length of 30. So we'll draw a line across the point we've made. So shoulder to chest line has 9. I just want to make sure we have the right measurement. 9, 10.5, 17, 24, that's shoulder to hip, and 30, which is the length. So I'm actually trying to draft on the paper before I transfer to the fabric. So like I usually say, if you are a learner, if you are a beginner, if you are a beginner and you are not so confident, you can actually draft on the paper before you transfer to the fabric, just in case you make any mistake. You can quickly correct it before you transfer to the fabric, so you don't waste your fabric. So that's the hip. And the length as well. Right. So on this line, we'll insert the shoulder measurement, which is 8. It's actually 16, but 16 divided by 2 is 8. Excuse me. You measure the 8 on this chest line as well. And we'll draw a line across just to form the front armhole. So for the front block, we actually do the 3 inches standard measurement just to get the shoulder slope. We come down by 1 inch here. That's because our shoulder is not straight, it's a bit slopey. Then from here, we can now take a measurement of 4. We're actually using a V-neck for this. Of 4 by 4. So the neck, depending on how low you want it to be, if you intend to wear like a camisole just inside, then you can actually make it lower than that. So if you intend not to use wear anything underneath, you can actually make it higher. So the V-neck, this way. So for the front block, we come here and divide this line by 2, then come in by 3/4 of an inch just to form the front armhole. Then on this chest line, we'll insert our bust circumference, which is 40. 40 divided by 4 is 10. So for this front block, I won't be adding any seam allowance, though I will tell you the reason later. Then we join this point together. So these are bust points. On our bust point, we insert our nipple to nipple measurement. So the nipple to nipple measurement I'll be using is 8 is divided by 2 is 4. Then we insert the 4 inches measurement here as well, up to the 8-point line. So we are trying to create our dart here. So for the front block, we come up from the hip line by 2 inches, then we come down by 1 inch from the bust point in order to insert the dart. So we come down by 1 inch here, then we come up by 2 inches here. Then here we insert the dart intake, which is 0.5 inches on both sides of the line. So on the waistline, we'll insert our waist circumference, which is 40. 40 divided by 4 is 10. On our hip line, we'll be using the hip measurement of 48. 48 divided by 4 is 12. And you just, so for the length, it depends on how wide you want the whole length of the pattern to be. So if you want it to be taper, you can just make it add 1 inch to the hip measurement and insert it. And if you want it to be like a pencil shape, you can just subtract 1 inch from it, but I want it to be a little bit taper. So here we marked 12 inches. I will just mark for 13 inches here, because I want it to be taper 13 or 14 inches. So it's up to you, depends on what you want. Like I said, so normally we are supposed to have this dart intake here. So I won't be adding any dart intake, and I won't be adding any seam allowance for the front. Like I said, I will show you the reason later. So we join this point together. So we can make this place a little bit curvy. So here we can come up by 1 inch. Then join it here. It's just like a different designs on the lower parts. You can actually leave it that way. It's up to you. So for the crossover part, other than the this side I will be joining together, other parts we won't be adding any seam allowance. So we can just add 0.5 inch here, just for joining to the back part. So we are done with the front part, and so we are going to cut the front part, and after the cutting we use this front part to cut the back part. There's a slight difference. Like I said, there's no seam allowance here, and I'll show you the reason later. And you can actually add it then take it out later, but it doesn't really make sense if you are taking it out later, so you better not add it. So if we are using this front part to cut the back part, for the back armhole will come in by ½ inch instead of 3/4 of an inch. The front block, so we use this front to cut the back. So we are actually going to use the front part to cut the back part with little alterations. So because from the back part, the dart will start from 2 inches away from the hip line, just like the front, but it will just start 1 inch below the chest line. So I'll draw the chest line so we can have an idea of where we are going to draw our dart. So other than that, and even the neckline, we can just come down by 1 inch instead of 4 inches here. And also the armhole will come in by half an inch instead of 3/4 of an inch, and that's all. Then we are going to add same allowance for the back. Remember, we didn't add for the front, and the reason is that when we cut the wrap, it's going to overlap and it will be more on the at the front than the back, so we still have to cut it again. So instead of cutting, why not add it at all? So you see that we don't add it at all, or add it then we cut it later. So it doesn't really make sense to me if we are cutting out later and we still add it at the beginning. So the plan is just not to add it at all. It's up to you. Just choose the one that suits you and then just add for just the back. So we'll be adding just like 2 inches for the back. And remember that I said there's no zip allowance for this as well. This is because we are wrapping it at the front. You understand more when we cut the wrap. Like I said, for this armhole, it's just half an inch. And this part remains unchanged. We added the 0.5 inches already. Then for the neckline, you can just come in by so you can just come down by 1 inch. And we add this to here. And that's it. That's the difference for the neckline. So since we've used the front part to cut the back part, so these are back parts. These are back parts. So it will be cut on fold. I've just tried to manage the paper. Then we can now create our dart. Remember I said this is the chest line and this is the hip line. You know, fashion is all about creativity, so you can just work out, you know, something that will be faster, quicker. Instead of drafting the whole back pattern all over, I've just, you know, used this method. So we insert our 4 inches post point just to know where the dart will be. Let me draw a straight line on it. Then we come down by 1 inch from the chest line for the back, then 2 inches away from the hip line. Then we decide the waistline. Remember, from shoulder to waistline is 17. So we come in by half inch. And that's it for the back. Right, that's it for the back. Then the front part, then we decide where our wrap will be and how long you want it to be. So it depends on where you want the wrap to run through. So for me, I just want it to be a few inches from the underbust. So my underbust is 14, and just like 1 inch after the underbust, and that is 15. Here. So I'm just trying to get where the underbust is. So this is the underbust. So the wrap will run, we could have a you know, a little cut from here through here down to the underbust. Do we discard this part, then the other one we use it for the second wrap. So just have a cut from here down here. So when we cut this, then we use the other part to cut the second wrap. So we'll discard this part. Then we use this to cut another pattern, exact pattern. But just be careful when you are cutting it, so you don't cut the same pattern on this. You know, this is for the left side now. So when you are cutting, you turn it over, then cut it instead of cutting on this side. So you turn it over and cut it. So I'm cutting the second wrap. This is the first wrap. Like I said, when you are cutting, just make sure you don't cut the same side. So you turn it over, then cut. So you can actually cut directly on the fabric now, but just because for the purpose of this tutorial, I'm going to cut it on the paper so you can have a look and see how it looks like. Just set it. set it so it doesn't move. Excuse me.
Also, I did this, mommy. I did.
So that's it. So this is how it should look like. Then this is the back. Remember, we are cutting this on fold. I've just managed the paper. So that's the back. And remember, I told you not to add any allowance for the front. The reason being that when you add an allowance to the front, there will be an allowance here and there will be an allowance here as well. So we'll have more fabric, so we'll have to cut as well. So it doesn't really make sense if you're adding an allowance and you're cutting it at the end. So I've decided not to have to add an allowance. So with this, we should be okay with the pattern. And you are going to add a belt here. So the belt will, you see that the belt runs through here, then it comes out here, or here, then comes out at the other side. So I'll transfer it to the fabric now, then I will explain more on what I mean about the belt. So guys, this is the outcome of my design. Can you see the wrap? It doesn't even need a camisole underneath because it's very covered. And the belt as well, can you see it runs through? No, it runs around the body. Can you see? And the top is fitted as well. Then you can add any sleeve of your choice. It depends on what you want. So if you like this video, kindly give me a thumbs up. Then subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so. Bye.